And outside, we've got a dense fog advisory. Be careful out there this morning. Some of the fog is really thick, and this dense fog advisory is going to be with us until 11 o'clock this morning, primarily for the eastern half of south central Texas. Also, now we've got a risk for severe storms. This is primarily late this afternoon, evening, and overnight. I think these storms will develop first way out west, out in West Texas. There's an enhanced risk of severe weather. I think they'll have to really watch those storms really closely. Now, as these storms progress eastward, they'll probably develop into a line, and I think they're going to lose some instability overnight, so just a slight risk across a good portion of the area, and by the time it gets to the I-35 corridor, just a marginal risk of severe weather. Now, if some of the thunderstorms can get tall enough, that's about 24 hours from now, tomorrow morning, yeah, they could have some really strong winds and maybe even some hail, so we'll have to watch that closely. All right, mile visibility, 3/4 mile at Hondo, mile at San Marcos, and half mile at Victoria. It is cool north of this frontal boundary. This front is going to come through later this morning, and it's going to warm things up later this afternoon. This afternoon is going to feel like spring with highs in the upper 70s and breezy conditions. Out west, there have been a few thunderstorms out towards Del Rio, and you can see the thunderstorm activity between Del Rio and Bracketville. I think the thunderstorms will likely stay out towards the west. Here's that frontal boundary that I'm talking about. Look how warm it is south of the front. North of the front, much cooler. As this system approaches from the west, this front's going to turn into a warm front, move to the north, and we're going to really warm things up later on. So we're going to have a lot of instability later, but the main system is going to be way out towards the west. So this is wind energy, where you see the other shade. That is instability. Where the two meet, that's where you have the potential for severe storms. Look at how they meet up out to the west overnight. But look what happens as this moves east. We lose a lot of the instability. But again, it's about a 50-50 shot tomorrow morning that we could have some severe thunderstorms, primarily with wind gusts. All right, today we'll have temperatures warming up into the upper 70s. If you've got something planned overnight tonight, chance for some rain. And then here comes that squall line moving to the east. That'll be tomorrow morning, about 24 hours from now. All right, so this morning, a little chilly, fog, drizzle. And then later this afternoon, feeling like spring with breezy conditions, 78 for a high. Tomorrow, storms in the morning, possibility, and then afternoon, 83. Thursday, 72, mostly sunny, and then with northeasterly winds, it turns cool, I think, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with highs on Sunday in the upper 50s. By the way, if you're going out tonight, go and stop by. It's a great movie night. Spring break movie night. The Incredibles 2 is playing. It's going to be tonight at 6 o'clock at Travis Park. Weather is going to be okay. I think temperatures will be in the 70s and 60s. But the problem is there could be some showers, especially if you stay out there too late. So keep that in mind.